Okay, so coming to the 2016 A-level paper, right? This question was kind of repeated in the 2013 paper. Remember, in the 2013 paper, we had a doubt with one question where I said the answer is 3, some marking scheme said the answer is 5, right? Inferior good, demand is increasing, right? For now, we'll go with that answer that I gave you. I checked with the professor also. He will get back to me. In case there is a change in the answer that I told, I'll let you all know in that, right? But this question is a little different. This question we can analyze using the demand and supply curve. Why? Because here they are asking you for equilibrium price and quantity. Now, if you look at the previous question in the 2013 A-level question, there they just asked us what will happen to price and quantity, right? But here they are directly asking us what will happen to equilibrium price and what will happen to equilibrium quantity. So therefore, we can draw a equilibrium demand and supply diagram and figure it out. So it's very easy. We'll go one by one. They are saying, suppose X is an inferior good, okay, and sold in a competitive market. Assuming other things remain constant, what are the effects of a decrease in the income of buyers? Yes, can you all tell me, for an inferior good, if the income decreases, what will the buyer do? Will he buy more of it or will he buy less of it? What do you think happens? It's an inferior good, not a normal good. It's an inferior good. Think, right? It's an inferior good. Now the person's salary has gone down. His income has gone down. Will he buy more of that inferior good? In other words, will the demand for it increase or will the demand for it decrease? What would happen, guys? He would buy more of that, right? Now think of something like what? Okay, we'll think of this thing, right? Okay, we'll think of the fellows who are smoking, right? So there are people smoking, let's say, okay, there is a fellow who is smoking, let's say for a month, he smokes 10 cigarettes, right? And the inferior version of it is the BD, right? I don't know how to spell BD, but I'll just say BD, okay, right? You all know the inferior version of a cigarette. Let's say this was when he was earning 50,000 a month. Now, what is BD? BD is the inferior good, right? This is the inferior good. So can you tell me, guys, now let's say this person's income decreased to 20,000. Okay, now earlier he was earning 50,000. Now let's say he lost his job. It decreased to 20,000. What do you think happens to the amount of BD that he consumes? In total, he consumes 20 cigarettes and BDs combined. So now what would most likely happen is the normal good, he would buy less. Cigarette is the normal good. He would demand for this, demand for the normal good decreases. Normal good is cigarette, demand decreases. But if you take the BD, now he might be consuming 15 BDs, right? I don't know how you spell that, but I'm hoping that's how you spell, right? So the demand for what? For the inferior good increases. Now he buys the cheaper inferior good. Did you understand that, guys? So when income decreases, demand for the inferior good will increase, right? Inferior good is BD, he'll buy more of it. So how do you show that in the diagram, guys? Demand increasing means it's a rightward shift. Do you get that? Is that okay? Fine. Okay. So then if it's a rightward shift, right? So just to recap once again, what's happening? We're talking about an inferior good. So in my example, the inferior good is the BD. So let's say one person, he was consuming 20, he needs to consume 20 of it every month. So he was consuming 10 cigarettes and 10 BD. Okay. Then he was earning 50,000. For some reason, he lost his job. Now his income went down to a 20,000. Then what would he do? He would reduce the consumption of cigarettes. That's the normal good. He would buy 5 cigarettes, the cheaper one, the basic version, the BD. He would buy more of that. So he would buy 5 cigarettes. The demand for the normal good will decrease, leftward shift. But if you take the inferior good, which is BD, for that what happens? The demand increases. So demand increasing, how do you show? Rightward shift of the demand curve. Okay. Then guys, okay, can you tell me what will happen to equilibrium price and quantity? Very easy. Now they are directly asking for equilibrium price and quantity. So equilibrium price will go up. Equilibrium quantity would also go up. So price increases, quantity increases, demand also increases. Which one is your answer then? Your answer is number 2. But remember, in the 2013 one, I will again recheck with the professor also. I'll let you know the difference between the 2013 one and this one is in the 2013 one, they didn't mention equilibrium price and quantity. That's why we didn't use the diagram approach. I'm hoping if you all were following last class, you all can remember something. You all would have made some notes. Okay, just have that in mind. But anyway, that also I will again check with the professor and let you all know. He didn't get back to me. I'll check with a paper setting guy and get back to you. Okay, done. Then we'll come to the next one. Question 8. Again, a very nice question. The table below shows the market demand and supply schedules for a good before and after the imposition of a unit tax. Price, quantity demanded, quantity supplied before, quantity supplied after. What was the tax per unit of output? How did you all figure this out? How did you all figure this out? What's the approach? Did you all make a supply equation and do it? Did you all, I don't know, what did you all do? How did you all come to answer for this? Can't remember. Okay, so let me teach you how to get this, right? Remember, in class, I taught you all, okay, how to adjust the supply schedule once a tax is put. Remember, I taught you all how to come up with this, how to come up with this quantity supplied after. You all remember the steps. I taught you all find the amount of the unit tax, find two prices with the difference of the tax. Yeah, we'll just come up with a, I'll just teach you that, right? So let's say I'll change the question a little. Okay, they have given you the price, quantity demanded and quantity supplied, and let's say in the question they tell us government is imposing, right? Let's say in the question they are telling us government imposes a tax of rupees, let's say not 10, let's say tax of rupees 3. So how do we find the QS after tax? Listen very carefully. I'm not going to type anything on the board. These are pure theory area. Your theory teacher would have taught you. My theory people, you can't remember, go back to the recording. So how do you find it? Step number 1, these are not formal steps. These are steps that I have made myself. What is step number 1? Find two prices with the difference of the tax. Tax is 3, no? So find any two prices with a difference of 3. So I'll take, let's say 12 and 15. Find two prices with the difference of the tax. That is step number 1. Is that part okay? I took 12 and 15. If you want, you can take 13 and 16 also. No problem. Something that has a difference of 3. Because why 3? Because my tax is 3. Then what is step number 2? Step number 2 is find the difference in quantity supplied at those two prices. So at price 12, quantity supplied is 20. At price 15, quantity supplied is 50. So what is the difference in quantity supplied at those two prices? The difference is a 30, right? What is the final step? To find the quantity supplied after, deduct the difference from the quantity supplied before. So the difference is 20. If I deduct 30, I get minus 10. 30 deduct 30, 0. 40 deduct 30, 10. Here 20, here 30. That's how you find the quantity supplied after. Shall we quickly do this if the tax is 4 rupees? Okay, for you all to practice more. If the tax is 4 rupees, can you give me two prices that I can select? If the tax is 4 rupees, I can select 12 and 16. Correct. Difference of 4. Okay, I'll take 12 and 16. So at 12 and 16, can you tell me what is the difference in quantity supplied at those two prices? The difference is 40. So how do I find the quantity supplied after then? 20 minus 40, I get minus 20. 30 minus 40 minus 10. 0, right? 10 and 20. Is that okay? Okay, right. Now, in this question, what you have to do, you have to work backwards, right? They have given you the quantity supplied after, they're asking you to find the tax. So let's see how many of you all can figure this out. We'll just go with the blue ones, right? So we are working backwards. Okay. So can you tell me, when we are working backwards, we'll go with this side. First of all, find the difference in QS. Right? At any price, find the difference in QS. What's the difference in quantity supplied? We'll go with the blue ones. What's the difference in quantity supplied? 20 and minus 20. The difference in quantity supplied is a 40, right? There's a 40 of a difference. You'll understand that. No? There's a difference of 40 between this point and this point. Okay. So then what do you have to do? Then you have to find two quantity supplies with that difference. So then I can take 20 and 60. That has a difference of 40. Then I go to the price 12 and 16. So 12 and 16 has a difference of 4. So then I can say my tax is 4. Okay. It's a little confusing if you are learning this for the first time. Now we'll see how many of you can figure this out. Now these are the actual numbers they have given. Yes, can you all tell me what is the difference between this and this? Quantity supplied before and after. There's a difference of 20. Okay. So then I'll take two prices with a difference of 20. Sorry, two quantity supplies with a difference of 20. Let's take this and this. Let's say 40 and 60. 40 and 60 has a difference of 20. Okay. So 40 and 60, what is the corresponding price? 14 and 60. How much do you think the tax is? The tax is the 2 rupee tax. That's how you get that. So take some time and go through. It's a good question, right? You get tax of 2. That is your answer. I did the same method, but took answers one by one, and you don't have to do all of it one by one, but you can get it in total. So remember, guys, remember the normal method first, and then this is a question where you have to work backwards. So the more practice you do, more and more questions you do, you can figure it out. So I'm not going to re-explain it too much. For those who didn't understand, most likely it's because you didn't know the initial one. So take some time, go through it again, right? You will be able to figure that out. Is that okay, guys? Step. That's a tax of 2 rupees. I'm working backwards and getting it. Okay? Right. Then going to the next. Okay, this is an easy one, not that hard. Price of a ballpoint, a good question, though not very easy. Ballpoint pen, sorry, price elasticity is -3. Whereas -3 is what? Elastic, inelastic. -3 is elastic. Then there is the total revenue thing, you can't do much. When the price of a ballpoint pen is 25, quantity demanded is 300. How much is demanded when the price falls 20? Now, this kind of a thing, we can use the PED equation. Okay. PED equals what? Change in QD divided by change in price multiplied by change in QD over change in price multiplied by price over QD. So what are we finding now in the question? They are saying when the price is 25, QD is 300. When the price is, they are asking when the price is 20, how much is the QD? That's what they're asking, no, guys. That's what they're asking. So they're asking, when the price is 25, QD is 300. When the price is 20, how much is the QD? So how do you find that? You can use the PED equation. If you can find the change in QD, then you can get the QD. No? So let's substitute to the PED equation. Can you give me numbers? What should I put here as PED? What should I put here? I'm substituting to this equation. I should put -3. Don't forget the minus. Change in QD. Change in QD. What do I put? That is what I'm finding. I'll leave it as it is. Change in price. 25 is going to 5. Sorry, 25 is going to 20. Let's be very careful with the pluses and minuses, right? Don't just put it. Price earlier was 25. Now it's going to 20. So price is decreasing by 5. -5. Be very careful. Do you put +5? You get a wrong answer. Okay. Then can you give me numbers for the price and QD? What's the price? Price 25. Remember, guys, I have to give the initial price, right? Price 25, QD 300. Right. So can you move things around and tell me how much is the change in QD? Now this is math. So change in QD will be -3 multiplied by -5 multiplied by 200 divided by 25. So I'm just doing that. How much do I get this as an answer here? Sorry, 300, sorry, 300. Okay. How much do I get? Okay, guys, I'm hoping you all figured this out, right? How I moved this from this side to this side. Okay, no? That's basic maths. I took the 5 into this side. Denominator became numerator. 300 became here. 25 came down. So how much do I get, guys? Change in QD. Be very careful. Tell me, is it a plus or a minus? Is it a minus something or a plus something? Be very careful. There are two minuses. So minus multiplied by minus becomes a plus. Right? So -3 into -5 becomes a plus. So it is a plus how much? Change in QD is a plus 180. So then is that part fine, guys? I am okay with that. How I worked with the PED equation and got the change in quantity demanded. I substituted the numbers what they have given me and I found the change. That's all that I did. So now can you tell me, when the price was 25, QD is 300. When the price decreased to 20, when the price fell by 5, the change in QD is a plus 180. So what is the QD? They are not asking for the change in QD. They are asking how much will the demand, how much will be demanded when the price falls. So how much will be demanded? 480 will be demanded. They didn't ask by how much will the demand increase by. No? If they ask by how much will the demand increase by, then 180, correct. But they ask how much will be demanded. That is a 480. Is that okay? Good question, but not very hard. But you have a lot to work with. You have to move around, do some calculations here and there, and you can get to the answer. Fine. Done. Then we'll go to the next one. Yeah. Right. These are easy one. The market supply curve for some good or service would shift to the left when. Can you all give me? How did 480 come, guys? 480 came 180 plus 300. So when you're going from 25 to 20, we said change in QD is a plus 180. So 300 plus 180, 480. That's how it came. Okay. This one, guys, easy one. Market supply curve for some good will shift to the left. Come on. When will the supply shift to the left? Or when will the supply decrease? Technology improves. If the technology improves, supply will increase. Price of inputs fall, supply will increase. Price of inputs increase, that is your answer. If the price of inputs increase, supply goes down. Technology improves and price of inputs fall, supply would increase. More suppliers enter the industry, supply will increase. These are easy as it gets. You can't ask for MCQs easier than this. Okay, done. Then we go to the next one. Question 11. This is also very easy. I have taught this to you all. Supply curve for a good is given by the following equation. Now this I took some time and I drew on my thing and I did all of it and I uploaded it as a separate section in the YouTube, on the YouTube channel as well. Can you tell me the moment you see this supply equation, what is the elasticity? There is no A component. It is simply Qx equals BP. What is the elasticity? This is elastic, inelastic, or unitary. Come on, I taught this to your last class, guys. Don't disappoint now. The moment you see an equation like this, no A component, simply that means A component is 0. What is it? Elastic, inelastic, unitary. This is unitary elastic, right? For those who are not listening, it's there on the YouTube channel as a separate video, right? Please go and check. So unitary elastic. You don't have to do calculations here. So then can you tell me, guys, what will the PES be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unitary elastic is going to be, it's going to be, PES is going to be 1, right? So the answer is going to be number 2. Is that okay? Right? I explained how this came last class, so I'm not going to explain today. For those who missed last class, please go back, watch that recording. Done. Going to the next. Question 12. Again, very easy one. The diagram below shows an increase in supply from S2 to S1 after the removal of a specific tax. There was a tax has been removed. So that means supply is increasing now. Okay. Supply curve S1 is the pre-tax supply as well as that. Fine, that you can figure out now. Okay. What effect does the removal of tax have on tax revenue and consumer expenditure? Okay, first, can you tell me, guys, if when this tax was imposed, how much was the government tax revenue? What is the area? The area is this area, right? This one, right? The 8 into 60. Do you all agree with me there? Government tax revenue is how much? Government tax revenue is 8 into 60. That is how much? 480. Okay. So now can you tell me, guys, if you remove this tax, what will happen? What will happen to government tax revenue? If you remove the tax, now they have removed the tax. If they remove the tax revenue is going to be 0. That means tax revenue will decrease by 480. Do you agree with me there? If they remove the tax, nothing, no, then that means tax revenue is decreasing by 480. Then what can you tell about consumer expenditure? So earlier, right, we'll try to analyze the diagram. Think, always look at equilibrium price and quantity. So earlier consumer was paying 24 rupees and he bought 60 units. So can you tell me the consumer expenditure when there was a tax? With the tax, how much is the consumer expenditure? With tax, consumer expenditure is how much? 24 into 60. How much is that? 24 into 60 is 1440. Okay. Now, when the tax is removed, what is the consumer expenditure? When the tax is removed, now the consumer will pay 20 rupees and buy 100 units, right? This is the consumer expenditure now. This green one, right? He is paying how much? He is paying 20 now. The new equilibrium price, 20 into 100, right? So, okay, with tax that is there. Then when tax is removed, how much is the consumer expenditure? That is 20 into 100. So how much is the number? 2000. Now check in the question, guys. Are they asking for the consumer expenditure or are they asking by how much has the consumer expenditure changed by? But okay, which one is advanced? What do you go with the answer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tax decreased by 480. Okay, that is one. Taxes decreased by 480. Consumer expenditure. Earlier it was 1,440. Now after they removed the tax, consumer expenditure has gone to 2,000. So consumer expenditure increased by, right? Not decreased, no guys. Now earlier tax revenue 480. Now when you remove the tax revenue is 0. So therefore we said tax revenue decreases by 480. Consumer expenditure earlier 1,440. Now you have removed the tax. Now the consumer is spending 2,000. So consumer expenditure increases by how much, guys? Consumer expenditure increases by a 500 and, right? So be very careful. So what is our answer, guys, then? 1, 2, 3, 4. Answer is the third one, right? So answer, we can go with the third. This decreased by 480, this increased by 560. Is that okay? Some of you all made careless mistake. Fine. Tax will decrease, consumer expenditure will increase. Done. Going to the next. We'll do this and I'll give you all a break, okay? Right. Substitution effect is the change in quantity demanded that occurs as a result of what? What is the substitution effect, guys? Substitution effect is where when the price of your good changes, the relative price of it changes. For example, when the price of your good increases, your good becomes relatively expensive. Therefore, consumers will switch to the cheaper substitute, your demand will go down. When the price of your good decreases, your good becomes relatively cheaper. Therefore, others will also come and buy your good, QD will increase. That is what the substitution effect is saying. So based on this, what can you say, guys? Substitution effect is the change in quantity demand that occurs as a result of a change in relative price when other things are constant, change in absolute price when real income is held constant. Yes, real income and all, in what effect do we talk about? This real income. We talk about this income effect, right? That is real income. In income effect, real income is not constant, real income changes, but you know, all these things, income effect. Change in relative price, okay, with money income held constant, not only money income, everything is held constant. The money income is constant, price of complement, price of substitute, everything is constant. You can't only say money income is constant, okay? Change in real income, no, real income, we don't talk about the substitution, that is income effect. Change in money income, again, no, right? So which one is our answer, guys? Our answer is number 1, the relative price of the good changes, while everything else is held constant. So when the relative price changes, good becomes either more expensive, good becomes either more cheap. Therefore, there is movement here and there, and as a result, QD changes. Is that okay? 13 is 1. Fine. Okay. Right. Last 2 questions, I'll give you all a break. The diagram below shows a country's demand curve for an imported consumer good. The government of this country imposes an import duty. We learned this in unit number 9. Okay, equal to P1, P2. So they have put an import duty. Which area of the diagram measures the resulting loss of consumer surplus and the resulting gain in government revenue? Now, earlier, listen very carefully. Earlier, the price was P1. Okay, this was the world market supply curve. Now what happened is, okay, can you all tell me when the price was P1? Okay, what is the consumer surplus area? Consumer surplus before? Consumer surplus before the import tax, or in other words, import tariff. How much is that? That is A plus B plus C. So now the government has come and they have put a tariff of P1 to P2. That means now the price goes to where? Price goes up to P2 now. Now this is the world market supply curve. We learned this theory revision people, unit number 9 recently last week. So now can you tell me what is the consumer surplus? Consumer surplus after tariff, after the import tariff is how much? After the import tariff is only A. So what is the loss in consumer surplus? Loss in consumer surplus is equal to B and C, right? B plus C, right? That part is done. Can you tell me, guys, what is the government tax revenue? Government is charging a tax of this much, P1 to P2, let's say a 5 rupee tax. How much is now bought in the market? This much units is bought in the market, this quantity, right? So how much is the government's tax revenue coming here? No, the area of B is government tax revenue. Okay. Okay. So give me a second. Government tax revenue is how much? B. Yes, what is the deadweight loss in this question? Deadweight loss is C. If you have a supply curve, domestic supply curve and all, it gets a little bit more complex, right? But that is unit number 9. That's not unit number 3, so don't worry. So in this question, they are not asking for deadweight loss or anything. They are only asking you for the gain in government tax and also the loss in consumer surplus. So which one is our answer then? Our answer is the fifth one, right? So loss in consumer surplus is B and C. Gain in government tax revenue is B. Is that okay, guys? This is not directly in your syllabus in unit number 3 now, guys, right? So this part is there a little bit in unit number 9 now. So in your unit number 3 tutes, you will not see import tariffs and all of that. But you can use a little bit of common sense and answer. But once you learn unit number 9, you can figure it out. Okay? Okay. Then going to the last one. Okay, easy one. Diagram below shows the market demand for a product. Assume that the supply is perfectly elastic and the price of the product is P1. That means there has been a supply curve like this. There has been a perfectly elastic supply curve. If the price increases from P1 to P2 because of a tax, okay, now this is what we already learned. Okay. Now there is a tax. So this went to P1 to P2. Now this is S plus T. Okay. The excess burden of the tax. What is excess burden? Excess burden means the deadweight loss. Which area is deadweight loss? Okay, same thing as the last diagram. What's the deadweight loss? So here, okay, can you tell me, guys, in a situation like this, when supply is perfectly elastic, what is the producer surplus? What is the producer surplus? Supply is perfectly elastic. Producer surplus is the difference between what the producer expects and what he actually gets. What is the producer surplus? If supply is perfectly elastic. Remember, guys, if supply is perfectly elastic, right? When supply is perfectly elastic, the producer surplus is 0. There is no producer surplus. Why there is no producer surplus? Because producer surplus is the difference between what he expects and what he actually gets. So producer is expecting, let's say, 10 rupees. Equilibrium price is also 10. There is no surplus really. He is expecting 10, getting 10. So no surplus. So producer surplus is 0. So then when you're calculating deadweight loss for something like this, you can just look at the consumer surplus change because there is anyway no producer surplus. So what is the consumer surplus before? Consumer surplus before in this example is this entire area. Let me highlight. Consumer surplus before is this entire area coming from this entire part. Now after the tax, what happens? After the tax, consumer surplus goes to this part. So consumer is losing this red color shaded area. he loses this. But even though he loses this, government gets this. Government gets this as what? Government gets this as their tax revenue. This area I'll highlight in dark blue. This is government tax revenue. So ideally, what is lost in the market is this red color shaded triangle. That is your deadweight loss. Okay, so take some time. If you are not very sure with how deadweight loss, consumer surplus, and all of it works, take some time and go through. So according to our answer, which one is it? It's B, B, F, and C, is it? Can't see the things written. The fifth one. Okay, so that is your answer. Answer is the fifth one. Fifth one is B, F, and C. That triangle in your tube. Is that okay? How many of it? How many did you all get right? There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 questions. How much out of 9? 9 out of 9? 6, 7, 8 at least. Others? Right. So some of you have done well. Good. Okay. So we'll take a break and then come to the 2017 A-level paper. The year that I did A-level, there's one interesting question here. One or two interesting questions. Others all are same past papers repeated. Okay. So we'll take a break until 5:30, a 10-minute break. You can take a break and come back. We'll then go through 2017. I'll finish by 6 guys. So take a break until 5:30 and come back.